But man, I wanted to talk to you about, the whole shoe game. I remember that, you were one of the reasons I started getting into shoes, and I started getting into shoes because of you. And let me tell you why. I always thought shoe collecting was always the most expensive, the rarest things.
Yeah.
But you always had like different pairs of shoes on, and they weren't like the craziest pairs or the most expensive. So that's when I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that that was even a thing to start collecting shoes, even if they were like off the wall brands or like certain colors and stuff like that. So, how did you like start collecting shoes?
I mean, as far as back as I can remember, man, I just honestly, I always wanted shoes. Like, but I didn't like go for the hype of like Jordan or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like high school, my sister used to work at Finish Line, and she would like for holidays, birthdays, whatever the occasion was, she always got me this brand Dada Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I always wanted that was because it was hip hop, So I would pull out the pages from the Source magazine, and I would tell my sister, I want this pair, I want this pair. So yeah, she would always come through and get me pairs of the Dada Supremes. So I had my little collection going with there. And then when Echo came around, had the Echo.
Yes.
Like I had to have those. So I've always like in a sense collected shoes, but not to what I have now.
Yeah.
I would from that back then I would have like maybe 5-6 pairs just lounging around.
Yeah.
And then I always had the skater shoes.
Yeah.
Etnies, DVS, Osiris. I always had them joints on the side. It wasn't until maybe about 2013 when the Toro 4s came into my possession. The Jordan 4 Toro 4, the Toro Bravos. Sorry. I don't know. It was just something about that shoe that pulled me in, and I was just like, yo, I need this shoe.
Yeah.
And then from there, like I went back and I reacquired the Answer 4s. And
dude, I got answers because of you too.
Right? Like there was just something about that shoe. Like there's always going to be something about that shoe for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the zip face, I don't know what it is. Just anytime I see a shoe that has a zipper face, I'm like, I got to have that because it reminds me of that Answer 4. So from there, it just something little just expanded and became what it is now.
Yeah. And that's dope because that was another thing too, because I was going to ask you what specific shoe. I remember I always wanted the Jordan 11s. I was like, man, I remember when I was hitting you up a couple years back, I was like, what if I want to buy these used? You're like, oh, they're like the 350. I'm all used. You're like, yeah, that's like even mint condition. Like right now, it just depends on the market. And I was like, what? You were just blowing my mind. I didn't know how much, like, I knew of sneakers and people collecting, but like I learned so much from you over time. And I always liked that you always had different colors and different things. So I started doing that too. Like I started like getting pairs of shoes that I couldn't afford when I was little. I always wanted, one of the biggest ones, and I'm wearing, Izzy was coming over. I had to, bring over some of my up tempos. When I was in elementary school, there was no way my parents were going to spend $100 on shoes. So I always wanted up tempos, man. And just cause it said Air. So every time I was like, that looks so dope. So that's cool. Cause I like how you said I had this shoe and it was like, what the fuck? And then that kind of sparked the interest. Because I was like that too. So as I gotten older, I'm making my rounds. So all the shoes I always wanted when I was a little kid. Right? Yeah, I was like, damn, I'm still wanting to get the Contours. The 11s. I was like, I can get them, but I'm such a freaking I'd rather just get a bunch of different pairs of shoes, man. So I like the fact that you're like, these remind me of that, and it kind of sparked that interest. How many pairs of shoes do you have right now?
As of today, I got 287. I brought the pair that came in today because I wanted to unbox it here.
Yeah, we're gonna do a live. We're gonna do. It's not gonna be live. You guys gonna be watching this later, but we're gonna do an unboxing of shoes that he ordered, but he hasn't even opened yet. So that's gonna be dope.